Welcome back to our course. Let's continue our lists. We have a list comprehension here, which means that we may have the whole statement on one line. The syntax will be list equals expression for item in iterable. Or we can even have another syntax using the if so, if condition. Let's clarify this by an example. We have a list of numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we print our list, here we are. Let's start having our list comprehension. We will write our expression. So let's say we want to multiply this list by the number 2. So have a new list, multiply by 2 equals the square brackets. Let's have our expression for every item in the iterable called numbers. So our expression here is number, where number is the item in the iterable. The expression is multiply this number by 2 for every number in numbers. So we write it as such for number in the list of numbers. Let's have a print here to see what happens. So on the same line here, using the semicolon, just print the new list multiply 2, and let's have a neat output using this between quotations. Have our comma outside the quotation, of course, and let's print the new list. Have our first run here. Yes, every number in the list numbers was multiplied by 2 and put in a new list called multiply 2. We can even have any change here. Let's have a new list called multiply by 3. All numbers of the list numbers will be multiplied by 3 for number in numbers, and let's here multiply 3 and change this for the name of the new matrix multiply 3. Let's have our run here. Yes, every item here is multiplied by 3. The syntax here is apply the expression for every item in the iterable. Our expression here is multiply every item in the iterable by 3. Every item here is called number. The iterable is numbers, and the new list or the new iterable is multiply by 3. We can even extend our list comprehension by using an if condition. Let's apply if the number is even. So it's written as such. If number, this sign, the percentage sign, 2 is equivalent to 0, which means that the remainder of the division of this number by 2 is 0. This means we have an item called number in our iterable even. So let's have our run here. Yes, it only chose the even numbers to be multiplied by 3. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. And the program skipped 5 and 7, which are odd numbers. Let's try the odd number here. So let's have 01. So let's here have 01. And let's here add multiply 3 odd numbers and have our run. Yes, multiply 3 our odd numbers. We have only 2 odd numbers here, the 5 and the 7. each one of them multiplied by 3. Let's have another if condition. Let's say if number is greater than or equal to 6. Let's have here greater than or equal to 6, which means that it will apply it on the 6 and the 7 only. So let's here print number greater than or equal to 6 and have our run. Yes, only the last two numbers, 6 and 7, were multiplied by 3. So you can have anything if condition you need. Let's try using range. So have these as commands here and apply the square value, square, square value equals the list, and have our each value in the list raised to the power 2 for x in range from 1 to 4, 1 comma 4. This means that we don't have a clear list here, but we use an embedded list created by range from 1 to 4. Let's print here our square value. Run. Even if you don't have a direct list here created by the program or the user, as in our previous case, we can have an imaginary list using in range this 1 to 4 in our example. So what really happened here is that a list was created. This list starts from the number 1, continues with 2, 3, and 4 is excluded. And each number of these 3 numbers was raised to the power 2. Let's now have a list of strings, and let's name our list. And let's name our list to be names. Let's have our square brackets for the list and add the items here. Let's say Alice, Dave, and Sue. Let's have a new list here called, say, uppercase, which raises all these names to the uppercase. It is equal to, and let's say our item in the iterable, we will call it name dot title, which is the string expression here, and have our curved brackets for name in the list names. And let's have here our print. Let's print the new list uppercase and see what happens here. Yes, it prints uppercase for A, D, and Sue for the 3 successive names. Let's have here another example applying a new string method. Just let's have a copy here. And let's have Dave written as such. Of course, here we need to have the strip method. And let's see what happens here. Let's have the new list called stripped. And let's print it here. Have our run and see what happens. Yes, the spaces preceding and proceeding the name Dave were stripped here, but strip doesn't cancel the spaces in between the string. Let's have our list here just simply Dave, and let's try the index. So let's have here index, our new list. Instead of this, just have our index 0 here for name in names, and print the new list index. Let's see what happens here. We expect the output to have the first letter of every name in names. For name in names, just the expression here is the index 0. Let's have our run. Yes, it prints the index 0 of the first, the second, and the third names, or name in names. Let's have instead of this 0, 1, which is the second index. We expect L, A, U. Let's see. Yes, and so on, which means that we may have our expression using index. This concludes to our list comprehension, having a statement on one line expressed as expression for item in iterable, and we may extend it to have an if condition.